The world ended on a Tuesday, not with a bang, but a crack. A giant, gaping crack across the sky. People stopped, stared. Nobody knew what to do. From the abyss, a monstrous claw emerged. It was scaly, dark, and bigger than any skyscraper. Panic flooded the streets. People screamed, ran, and prayed. The end had arrived. The monster roared. It shook the earth, rattled buildings, and ripped the hole in the sky even wider. This wasn't just an attack. This was an invasion. This was the end of everything. 17-year-old Susu watched in horror. He stood frozen, fear rooting him to the spot. The world was ending, and there was nothing he could do, or was there? As the monster roared again, Susu felt something stir within him, a warmth, a power. It was like nothing he'd ever felt before. It pulsed in his veins, urging him to act. He looked at his hands. They glowed with an ethereal light. The light pulsed in sync with the power surging through him. What was happening? What were these strange new abilities? He didn't have time to think. The monster's roar shook him to his core. It was time to choose, run and hide or fight back against the impossible. Fear threatened to consume Susu. He was just an ordinary teenager. How could he possibly fight a monster capable of tearing apart the sky? It was madness, but the power surging through him whispered of courage. It spoke of a strength he never knew he possessed. He looked at the terrified faces around him. Could he abandon them to their fate? He thought of his family, his friends, his city, all on the verge of being consumed by this abyssal horror. He couldn't stand by and watch it happen. He had to act. The decision made, a strange calmness washed over him. He might be afraid, but he wouldn't be powerless. He would fight for himself, for his loved ones, for his world. Taking a deep breath, Susu stepped forward. The glowing light around his hands intensified, responding to his newfound resolve. He didn't know how, but he would fight this monster. The abyssal claw swiped at a nearby building, reducing it to rubble. People screamed. Susu's heart pounded, but his gaze remained fixed on the monstrous appendage. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about protecting what mattered. It was about hope. And Susu, armed with his mysterious power, was ready to become a beacon of that hope. He raised his glowing hands towards the sky. He didn't know what to expect. He didn't know if he could win. But one thing was certain. Susu wouldn't back down. The fate of Earth rested on his shoulders, and he was ready to fight.